Hello everybody, I'm Creature, and today we're reviewing the Coco 45. Now, this is actually one of my favorite guns in the game, because I remember a few years back, when I was first getting into Twine, I used to have my two favorite weapons, which I made a video on, which was the Jackal and the Judge. And eventually down the line, I got this, and I just really loved it. It was a super fun weapon because of the bouncy bullets. Well, not really bullets or marshmallows, but point being, this weapon is very close to me because it is just one of my favorites, and I thought I would make a fun video near the holiday seasons. Now, funnily enough, I got this weapon from a birthday llama. I think it was the birthday llamas of 2023 when I got this, and I was at first like, oh, this weapon must be pretty weak. It shoots marshmallows, and well, it's a pistol. And, well, I was wrong, because, well, you know, if I truly have this as my favorite guns, I wouldn't have 3 copies of it for each element, you know. I think that really does go without saying. Now, this is a event schematic that returns in the event shop, which is actually right now in the event shop. It's available right now, so by the time you see this, you'll still probably be able to get it. I'm not sure when it leaves. I'm pretty sure near the end of the adventure season is when it leaves, but it'll be available for a good portion of time, so I suggest you do get it. It is a very good pistol. And, well, I have 3 copies of it for each element. I think that's a good sign of the weapon. Now, when it comes to the perking, you can do this in multiple ways. I think you can even have triple crits. Yeah, crit damage there. You can have a reloaded magazine there. Then this can be crit damage, and then that's crit damage. So you can actually run this in a very good I think the word's plethora. I can't really say it. I'm not good with words. I'm sorry. It's always just been an issue of mine. I try my best. But point being, it's a very strong gun, and you can perk it in multiple ways. It's very much like a Swiss Army knife in a sense of it's just a flexible tool, per se. Now, I personally like to run mine with fire rate, magazine, and crit rating crit damage, though you can absolutely remove this fire rate and put another crit damage if you want to. Personally speaking, for my preferences, I do like firing a little faster and having more bullets, but play how you want to play, but this is how I'll be reviewing the weapon today. Now for the loadout, we'll just be running Beetle Chest with simple toy rocking out and some pistol heroes in the support with Stereo and Might to boost our damage. Super simple, super easy, and you will, to get this loadout, you will have to play at least around summer to Halloween, since Beetle Chest is a Halloween hero and the toy rocking out and dinosaur heroes are summer heroes. Now, I think the Wild West llamas can return at any point. That's where 6-shooter comes from, Calamity. So she isn't really time locked, and Hip Shot is base game, so it's fine. Now you can get these heroes from the country book from fluxing them, or you can. Oh, actually no, not an or. You know, my brain still sometimes thinks that you can use vouchers to get these heroes, but you can't anymore. That's not a thing. The one that requires a voucher is actually Calamity because she's a mythic, and I don't think she comes from llamas, actually. I'm actually go check that actually real quick. Alright, so I'm in the section where you get them, the, you know, Wild West heroes. All these come from, you know, the llamas. I've gotten these from llamas, but I never actually got Quick Draw Calamity from them. Okay, so it says they come from the Wild West X-Ray llamas, but I've never seen it. So I'm guessing, I'm guessing she's a fair bit rare. I've always just recruited her with the hero vouchers, so... if you don't find her in a llama, which I've never found her in a llama before, but that could just be a me issue. That's how that tends to go. But if you do find her in a llama, I do suggest getting it because hero recruitment vouchers are a little annoying to get in my opinion. So it's just very nice to do it this way. But if you see her in a llama, I suggest grabbing it because it's a very decent hero to have for these such pistol builds. So yeah. Anyways, let's get in game and let's test this out because it's gonna be a fun one. I know it is because I've used this pistol so much. I've used this pistol for a long time. I know what to expect, but I really just want to show it off for the holiday season. So let's go do that. Alrighty, we are in game. So let's go craft ourselves a copy of this gun. Now we are in a water storm, and since everything's a water storm, we actually only need to craft one element of it, which is super nice. We only need our nature element of it. Which is why I also do like, you know, having separate copies for each element. It is super expensive to do that though, so I understand why not every person does that. Very understandable. I get it. Not everyone can afford to do that. Not everyone plays as religiously as I do. But it is perfectly fine. Now, as you can see, the pistol is pistoling. And also these bouncy bullets, of course, can bounce and ricochet back into the enemies, I believe. It is possible. I think you kind of have to shoot the floor first, let them pierce, and then bounce back up. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't exactly remember, but if you can get something like this, it might hit them multiple times, as you can see, which is very tasty, very good. Now, my cat is trying to knock over a box that is holding my cactus. I see you. Okay, yeah, he walked away the second I pointed that out. But no. But it's a strong pistol, and I knew that. I just wanted to share the fun. So let's go see if we find some more bigger targets to shoot at, or possibly even crowds, since it does piercing. Now, I think in my, what's it called, the Bolt video, I pointed out that this is actually a better alternative for it because it has the piercing, it's stronger, also it isn't as loud, which is super nice. I don't really like loud weapons because I have fairly sensitive ears. But, of course, that's just me. That's not everyone, and I get that. But, as you can see, it's shredding up enemies. I was gonna shoot the wolf, but I'm just gonna tame it. I don't usually tame wildlife, but I'll do it this one time. I'll spare the wildlife. Anyways, I'll cut back when we get some big targets. Alrighty, up ahead we do have a smasher. I have gathered some wafers, so let's go do a little bit of a test. Now, what something you can do is do a little bit something like this and shoot at the ground. Very similar to the one weapon. I forget its name all the time, but I'll pop it up on screen. It's the one bazooka from the sound box set. Or boombox set, not soundbox. Similar thing, just a little louder, you know, it's a boom. But, point being, it's very similar to that weapon with the bouncing. Now, I don't think the bouncing stacks. Like, if you hit an enemy, I don't think it will do more damage or less damage. I think it just does the same persistent damage each time it bounces. So it is something to keep note of. That's kind of it for this section. All I can really say now is I'll see you at the defense. So, yeah. So, the defense has started, but I don't think we were, ready, at all. We don't really have much of a defense, but I'll do my best. It's not the worst defense, but it could have been a little bit more built. But as you can see, the piercing damage and the roundup of enemies, it clears them out fairly well. Now, this does struggle against right-shield huskies, pretty obviously, because it's more of a projectile object that travels, and I think the projectile is actually bigger than their window screen. So, I don't think you can actually shoot them from the front. You do have to get a little bit behind to do it. Now, we do have a bit of a group of smashers. That is... Oh, this is worrying. Oh. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, this is what I was talking about not being much of a defense here, but... I'll try to manage the crowd while they, hopefully repair. This is bad. But as you see, the weapon, it's killing, you know, it's strong. It's doing what it needs to do for a weapon. Now, if we do fail, I will load into another mission so we can show off the defense portion of the review a little more cleanly. I think we're not gonna win this one. We're being bombarded by just a ton of smashers, which isn't fun. But, of course, that's how that tends to go and save the world. When everything seems to go fine, it'll send a smasher down, which stinks. it just stinks. But, it's the way of the game. What can you really say? But, you know, you shoot in the crowd. Now, since it does travel, kind of like the ghost pistol, you do have to predict your shots, which can be a little hard. And, the bouncing bullet won't always hit an enemy when it bounces off. That's why I always suggest kind of using it in crowded spaces or trap tunnels. It's very good for that. Very similar to the 10 Instrument of Death, actually, you know. You shoot that thing into a trap tunnel, then you kind of like swerve it around, get it where you need it to be. Like, it's fairly similar to that, except you don't have much as control, and more than likely, you'll have to be, shooting like right down the trap tunnel, not really around corners. You can try to ricochet it to get it to location you need it to be, but it's not preferred, and also I think it only bounces 3 times before despawning at most. I think there is a bit of a hard cap on that, which can be annoying, but for a fairly strong weapon, I think that's a fair balance to it. It doesn't bounce as much, but it shreds, you know? It's just a good pistol. You know, that's why I primaried it for so long. Until, you know, I finally moved on to actually just, you know, reviewing other sets of weapons. I stopped being the pistol guy and started just playing the game normally. You know, but I had my fun. I had my fun the way I wanted to have fun. And what can you really say, you know? Play how you want to have fun. It's just don't. I say this a lot. You play how you want to play. Just don't impede on others. Because when you do that, you kind of sour the mood, in my opinion. You know. But I think I'll cut back if we do make it to the mini boss. I don't know about that, honestly. I do think we're a little overwhelmed, so I don't know if we'll actually make it to a mini boss. But yeah. Alrighty, surprisingly, we have made it to the mini boss. I wonder what type we got. Okay, a fairly normal one, which... Okay, it's shielded. I didn't see that little part right there. My bad. But let's just see. Okay, it's also fire, which means our copy is only doing about, I want to say, half or a quarter of its damage. Okay, so I might load into a second match just to test out the mini-boss capability. But in the meantime, we'll just take out our sword, get stuck on nothing, apparently. And, yeah. Let's just go with this one. And it is within my budget. Oh, this is going. Did his shield just block the wave? Oh, man. Okay. Rude. Okay. Can you, like, stop existing? Okay, okay, I need to, okay, I'm gonna focus. You know what, we don't need to finish off I'm not gonna try finishing off. It's not one we can really do for the view anyways, so I'll just cut back when we get to our next match, and we have the mini-boss. Alrighty, so we are in the next mission. I said I would cut away, I would cut back when we got the mini-boss. But it's actually been a couple hours. I keep getting melee mini-bosses or like trap vulnerable mini-bosses, like just like mini-bosses I can't review weapons with. So this is like my 4th match of trying. I took a little break. And, well, you know, now we're trying it again. Also lost like 2 of those matches, which really suck. But it's not a really big deal. I'm not gonna, you know, cry about it. I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna hope. We're gonna hope that the mini boss for this one is something we can actually attack and do proper damage to. So now I will see you at the mini boss. Alright, I said I know how to cut back when we get the mini boss. But I have to say this, I feel like every single episode almost. This, okay, though this is proper. It can bounce back and forth and do damage, that's proper. But a lot of these aren't. The best range for these traps is 3 tiles, which these are. But such as these ones, which are, I want to say around 6 tile. Let's just go check. Yeah, just about 6 tiles or more. But point being, these aren't really proper. They're going to do a little bit of damage, which, okay, yeah, if that's your goal. But at that point, you might as well just use a good old trusty wall dart. They have a 3 tile range. They have more consistent damage. And they are literally meant to be used at like the front end of a defense to, you know, where it shoots into a trap tunnel. Or in open spots where the husks will have to walk through and they'll be within its range. That is the point of the wall darts. These are more for trap tunnels in between. So let's say you have a straight line and you have 2 walls. You put these back and forth and they will wipe out the enemies fairly well. There's a proper way to do it, proper way not to. Not proper way not to. But there's a proper way and then there's an improper way. This is proper. This is good. I love to see it. But down here it's not optimal, especially right here. Well, these are optimal, but this one right here, this one isn't. This will hit this, then go up, then bounce back down. Usually don't want that. But something I just want to point out. Anyways, I will now officially cut back to the mini boss. You have got to be fucking kidding me. You have. Okay, I was trying to avoid cussing this episode or video, whatever you want to call it. But you have to be kidding me. Why? Why? Well, I'm not gonna go into another match and try to do this again. I'll see you in lobby for the final analysis. This is just ridiculous, man. So, would I suggest the Coco 45 as a weapon in Fortnite Save the World? Yeah, it's a really good weapon. It's a really fun weapon. It's flexible. It can be perked in many ways, depending on your playstyle. And, well, look at it. It's just kind of funny. Anyways, I hope to see you all next time, and I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.